Now at 8, we are dealing with historic spring snow this morning. We have First Live local team coverage in our studio and across the metro area with everything you need to know before you head out this morning.
And as the snow falls, trees and power lines across the city are coming down with it, knocking out power to tens of thousands of people. We'll tell you how long some areas may be in the dark.
Plus, as we deal with slushy conditions in the valley, a winter storm warning is in effect on Mount Hood, which you need to know if you're hoping to get in some spring skiing today. Good morning. It is Monday, April 11th. I'm Kimberly Moss.
And I can't believe it's April 11th and we're seeing this. I'm Shauna Parsons. Boy, the weather is having a big impact on our local school districts. Just minutes ago, Portland Public Schools announced they are closing for the day. There was a delay earlier. Now they have decided to close for the day. The Evergreen and Vancouver school districts in Washington also closed, as is Forest Grove School District. Other schools for now are running on a 2-hour delay. That includes Beaverton School District. If you watch the bottom of your screen, you'll see a full list of closures. We will continue to update you as they come in as well.
We will get to Tony with a look at your roads in just a moment. We have a big problem on Highway 26 in Portland. But first, let's get to Andy now with the very latest on our weather.
Well, we haven't had a chance yet to go out to the coast right now from the Chinook Winds beach camera. Lots of rain and wind out there. Heavy rain falling there. We're seeing that in the form of some heavy snow to a rain-snow mix and low ceiling as we go to the Shriners Hospital camera. It's back up to 34 degrees. We dropped down to 33 for about an hour or so, which ties a record low temperature at Portland for this date. So starting to work its way back up the other direction. So that's some good news. Still go ahead and grab a couple of jackets with those chilly temperatures out there. You'll also need something water resistant because we're going to see it make a transition to just rain later today and then be with us off and on through the day. Highs going up to 46 degrees. Tony?
Back out to the Sunset Highway coming inbound. Nobody getting by, and it's been this way for about 2 hours because of trees that came down near the area of the Washington Park Zoo. Stephanie is out live near that area at the exit for the zoo. Stephanie, it looks like traffic is being taken off of 26 on that exit. And then are they going across the overpass right in front of you and then being sent back outbound on the Sunset Highway?
Yes, exactly. That was exactly what I was just about to tell you, Tony. You can see behind us, you have these crews who are blocking off traffic on Highway 26 inbound, and all of these cars instead are coming through up here behind me. Now, earlier there was actually a really large branch on this tree, or excuse me, on this road, and so it was blocking all traffic. Thankfully, they've gotten that out of the way, and all of the cars are able to come through. But we want to show you, if you look on the other side of the highway here, as you mentioned, they're either being directed back to westbound onto the 26, or we think probably up through Washington Park, through the zoo and down into Burnside. But really snowy, of course, going into the park. Just so much snow on the trees. We've been standing out here about an hour and a half, an hour or so, and we can hear every few minutes some branches coming down. We can watch the snow just falling down off these trees. So, I mean, there's a considerable amount of snow that's now piling up on these branches. And as we've seen issues around the area with branches coming down, power outages, I want to show you just a look here. This is my standing little area that I've made for myself, but quite deep snow here. I want to say about almost 5 inches of snow. This is where I'm standing just to kind of keep myself off the road. But of course, this is spring, April, and people are just getting excited about gardening, but I was just kind of admiring this poor little plant here, getting all of its, leaves coming up for the season.
Hey, Stephanie,
but,
I just wanted to illustrate something there. Those cars we see turning around to Mike's right, those cars are being directed by ODOT. Because those are the ones that are kind of stuck between the off-ramp and a little bit down the road where the highway is closed. So there's several hundred cars probably stuck in that gap that are just going to be sitting there. So they're allowing them to back up, turn around, take that zoo exit. Otherwise, they're going to be sitting there for quite some time. So that's what we're seeing backing up and turning around. But I mean, this is why you don't want to go anywhere near Highway 26 this morning. Great work out there, Stephanie. Kim and Shauna, back to you.
Oh, go ahead, Steph.
No, I wanted to say these cars actually were reminding me of when you're in a supermarket line and then they open up the other line and you go, dang, I wanted to be first in line for that line. And so these people are kind of on the very edge of that, waiting for their chance to leave. So they're stuck, but we'll keep watching this. As you can see, they are getting people out of this area and along on their way.
Well, and I have a quick question, though, Stephanie, actually, because I don't see anybody directing them. So are these just people who were stopped who just decided to do it on their own? Or are you seeing The people who are backing up and turning around, are these ODOT workers telling them that they can do that? Have you been able to tell?
I have not seen anybody backing them really.
Okay.
Actually, they are over here directing people. Now that I'm looking closer, there are crews down here. If you look, they're telling people to back up, and they're watching this very closely. I was actually just assuming that they would probably be telling them not to do it because there's enough crews out here if they weren't okay with it. But now we see someone who's actually talking to these cars, so they're all going backwards, which is something that's kind of startling to see, you know, when you see people going backwards on a highway.
Yeah, it really is. And this is an example, Tony, you talk about this in the winter months of keeping supplies in your car, right? An extra blanket, some snacks, some water, things of that nature. But you don't think about it in April, right? But this, keep it in your car at all times.
Our own photographer, Michael Hurd, got stuck between a dead end and a tree that came down in front of him. He's not going anywhere until that tree gets cleared. So, yeah.
All right, Stephanie, we'll be checking back with you, and of course, we'll check back in with Tony. You know, we talk a lot about the trees that have been coming down. As our camera turns around, we want to tell you about the power outages. There are many power outages, thousands of people waking up without electricity this morning. This is a live look now at PGE's outage map. More than 42,000 customers are without power. We do know that several of those outages are weather related, some from heavy ice and snow, some from down trees. PGE, this is a really neat service that they have. They will text customers about when power will be restored. It's terrific. It has happened to me, and they are on top of this, folks. We spoke with PGE earlier this morning, Shauna, and they were saying, you know, they're hard at work, so it's just to be patient, right?
Well, and they want you to let them know as well.
Yes.
You know, if you're having issues in your area, let them know, because they're trying to get crews as quickly as they can to get out there and help.
And we do want to point out that they said that some of these outages will last until this afternoon, so you just want to bundle up and be patient.
All right, let's get over to Joe Vithiathil. He's in Forest Grove, where a tree has come down, thankfully in an empty parking lot, though, right, Joe?
Yeah, good morning, Shauna. Yeah, Forest Grove here. You know, we headed out here initially because schools were closed. This is one of the school districts that's announced they would not have any class today. So first we wanted to get a look at driving conditions. So this is Pacific Avenue. If you head down in the direction of these cars, you'll eventually run right into Pacific University. And you can see right here, the driving conditions not bad at all. You've got some snow in the middle there, a little slush, but really nobody having any issues. But yes, we have had earlier this morning a number of potentially really problematic issues, specifically with downed trees. So this is a parking lot. This is a Safeway store right here. And in this parking lot, this really large tree, I'll stand next to it so you can get a size, feel for the scale here. It is good size, came down earlier this morning. Now, luckily, once again, nobody was walking through here. Nobody was parked under this tree when it happened. But you can see a big tree would have caused a lot of damage had it fallen on anything or anyone. As a matter of fact, when we came in here, we actually initially parked our news van underneath that tree. We decided to move it over there because you just never know. Something like this could happen rather suddenly. And so that is something to keep an eye on as you're heading out there. Is it not just the snow on the ground, but just be aware you could have falling branches and in some cases falling trees, which at the wrong time could really be really bad. You can see right over here, I see someone in the Goodwill across the street here. They're clearing out some fallen limbs there. So something we're seeing throughout the area here in Forest Grove. Kim and Shauna, back to you.
Yeah, I mean, Joe, this is a scenario where a lot of times people want to get out, walk around, enjoy the winter wonderland. I mean, this is an example of why you really need to be careful out there today. We're going to check in with you throughout the morning, Joe, but also we want to get over to Deborah Gill, who is live in the Skyline area. I know a friend of Kim's, Deb, sent her a picture. I mean, she thought maybe 8 inches of snow in some of these areas. So what are you seeing, and what was the drive like? Because I know you were in downtown Portland, and now Skyline. Tell us about that.
As you start to make your way up the hills, it definitely gets a lot more treacherous. We're seeing about 5 inches of snow here. We measured on the back of this truck, and actually Mike did that, and he said 5 inches. But it is still coming down here in the West Hills. Obviously, we're at a higher elevation. So far, 5 inches continues to accumulate. But look at here. Everywhere we've driven today, we have seen down trees and limbs, and more that look like they're on the verge of falling. This is really causing a big problem for drivers. And as we've been reporting all morning as well, power outages. Just take a look at this. Now, here's some video of more of what we saw earlier in downtown. A huge tree split on Southwest 4th at Chapman Square. Drivers having to swerve around it to avoid this just huge tree that split and fell into the road. The snow that came down earlier was quite wet and heavy, and it's caused a lot of issues like this all over the metro area. Trees and branches down on streets, down on cars, on power lines. And then here's what we found in the Goose Hollow neighborhood of Southwest Portland. This is the area of Columbia and 17th and Jefferson and 17th. Many trees and branches fell, blocking the road. Some of them damaged cars. And we're hearing this has happened in many other areas. So you just really want to be careful this morning. And like Joe, you're just trying to be careful. We moved our car to make sure we were not parked under a tree. We are, as we headed up the hill on Burnside, we witnessed a tree fall right in front of us. And we're also hearing that crews are having a hard time reaching some of these areas to try and clear the roads because of these downed trees and backed up traffic. So just all the way around, it is quite a mess this morning. Reporting live in Southwest Portland, Deborah Gill, Good Day, Oregon.
All right, Deb, thank you very much. Boy, it really tells a story of what's happening in our area with all of the trees down. It seems like every few minutes we see another one. As the snow comes down in the valley this morning, Mount Hood is getting walloped. This is a live look at all 3 ski resorts on the mountain. There is a winter storm warning for the Oregon Cascades. Some important notes if you had hoped to hit the slopes today. Ski Bowl has already closed skiing and snowboarding for the season, but both Timberline and Mount Hood Meadows are set to be open until May. As of right now, Mount Hood Meadows and Timberline are expected to open lifts, boy, in just under an hour from now, but that could change depending on the wind and snow conditions up there. We will stay on top of the updates for you throughout the morning, and we will let you know if there are any changes ahead for the day. If you had planned to take an extra long weekend and maybe go skiing, because you can see there's a lot of snow up there as I talk from the side of my mouth. Not that we're encouraging you playing hooky, but boy,
this might be the time.
If I were a skier or snowboarder, just saying.
Yeah.